bigger, I think.
How you guys like this setup, by the way, with us all equal?
It's fine.
It's cool. I just need to start figuring out how to put up backgrounds on here.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening? It is the new OGs, Bobby, Rob, and me. And I'm not the host. Bobby's the host, but I'm talking a lot.
Somehow I'm the host. You said it.
Well, it's not host. You're the point guard. You're usually the point guard. We got you in the middle. So you can, do your dish thing.
But I mean, you're on the stream right now, so if
okay, fuck it, I'll take it. Hey, let me start looking at.
You can ask me twice.
Hey, what's good? Right? I mean, let's keep it 100. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the new OGs Post-Runoff-Election, Georgia Runoff-Election podcast. We're gonna talk about a bunch of cool stuff. At the top, I'm actually going to give you like a list. Like I don't have the digital wherewithal to like throw it up there like ESPN, but I'm just going to break it down for you. We're going to talk about the Georgia runoff election with Warnock and Walker. We're also going to talk about the Trump or getting found guilty. We're going to chat it up about what the fuck else would I say? We were going to chat it up about Bobby. I should have thought about it before I asked.
I got you. I'll help you out here. We're going to talk about how Georgia did well with the runoff. We're about the Trump organization and how they got found guilty. We're going to talk about Jack Smith, the new guy in charge of the Trump organization's criminal investigation. We're going to talk about the GOP in disarray after the Herschel Walker defeat last night and where they are with Trump running for president right now. We're going to talk about Deion Sanders going to Colorado and the impact that may have on both Division I black coaches, the HBCU conferences like the SWAC and the MEAC, and everything involved therein. And then lastly, we're going to get into Kenya Barris' new movie featuring Eddie Murphy, Nia Long, and how blacks are mad he made a movie with biracial people centered to the plot. That's the game plan for the day.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. All right.
Now we know why I point guard this motherfucker.
There you go. Yeah, you see, that's what I was expecting him to point guard this shit. That's why I said, never mind. I just thought he was going to do it. But okay, anyway. First off, let's start with Georgia, man. I got to admit, 3 points is closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be bigger than that. I think he wound up winning 52 to 48 or something like that, or 51 to 48 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was 3 points. He was 3 percentage points, however that works out mathematically to come out to 100. 48-51. Yeah, that's what that would be, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, a little bit high. Warnock won. I really cannot believe that many people stood in line for Herschel motherfucking Walker. Like they stood, like there was literally the lieutenant governor of Georgia went on TV and said he stood in line for like an hour and a half. And when he got in there and he looked at the ballot, he couldn't do it. And I expected that to be the response to a lot of people because the decision in the Senate was over with. The power in the Senate was over with.
Right.
At least as most people thought, there is a technical thing that does win big for the Democrats. They actually get to have an extra person on every committee, and they actually have subpoena powers now on every committee, which they did not have the last 2 years. And I did not know that until this shit happened. It's amazing how much Trump has made me learn about the fucking American government. I mean, actually, like seriously, him being a fucking monster has made me learn so much. So fellas, let's take it away. Let's talk. What you guys think about the Warnock win?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most interesting thing is people saying they're surprised that many people in Georgia went out and voted for Herschel Walker. I am not surprised. To me, a 3-point win is a blowout as far as I'm concerned in this runoff election. Warnock only was a few thousand votes ahead of Herschel in the first election, and there was a libertarian candidate involved, and less people were for sure going to come out and vote in this election. And what happened was what I thought was going to happen is that less Republican, like I was looking when they were breaking down, here was the county from before and here's the county now. And like in counties that Walker won before that he still won, like the difference in the less amount of votes they got was heavily in favor of Warnock. Like heavy Republican counties, right? Like Herschel Walker would lose like 40,000 votes off of a total and Warnock would lose like 3,000 votes. And it's like, these people obviously were fine the first time, but have at least been like, we're not just going to vote for anybody at this point. Like, there are a lot of Republicans that just didn't come out to vote for Herschel. But the fact that, like, but I don't think you should ever underestimate racism. And like the fact that this guy was chosen purposefully as a troll to black people, as a disrespectful troll to black people. This is an old, and I've said this a bunch of times to people, like, this is an old trick. This isn't new. This happens all the time. They put up some black guy who's a sham guy who's just going to do what white people want him to do because they think black people are so dumb they'll just accept it. That's the whole game plan. Is they think you and I are so dumb that
we won't know the difference.
Famous football black guy, better than black guy, don't know who sides with like white guy who we claim hasn't done anything for us. So I'm going with famous football black guy. That should be insulting. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a lot of black people that are dumb enough to fall into that. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't use that trick.
Hopefully, I mean, a lot is strong. He got like 3%. He got like 3% of the black vote. That
feels like 3% more.
It's 4% more, nigga. It's 4% more. We should have been pulling in non-blacks that changed themselves to being black because they were so outraged by this shit.
But the other part of this too, though, is that it's also a trick against white people, and white people should feel insulted by this because the point of this is to give cover to racists who want to give the impression that they're not racist. They do this a lot also. They look to try and find a way they can do a thing where they don't really give up power, but they can make it look like they've ceded some of it. And that was what this was going to be. Herschel Walker is going to do nothing more than what the white supremacist power elite wanted him to do. That's all he was going to do.
Lindsey Graham was the puppet with his hand up Herschel's ass. Hey, Rob, you've been trying to jump in, man.
Yeah, sorry, man.
What you got to say?
It wasn't never meant for black people to begin with. It was never meant for black people to begin with. It don't need to be true. It just need to be there. And so all they needed was somebody like just the right trained animal to go out and hey, look, I don't give a damn how many out of wedlock kids you have. I don't care how many women you done beat up. It does not really matter. You love Jesus, and you'll do what the fuck I tell you.
You love Jesus now, don't you? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay.
So, and you give racist whites an out. You give them an out to be like,
Lindsey
Walker.
Lindsey Graham.
As if let me just say this real quick. As if real racism is not based on proximity. It's based on power dynamic.
Right.
So they ain't like they didn't want to be around your black ass. They love being around you as long as you do what the fuck you told.
Right. Yeah. The presence. That's a great piece of information, Rob. I think a lot of people say that again because I think a lot of people don't recognize that. It's
not this shit is not based on proximity.
So being close to somebody is not. It's not that they don't want to be close to black people. That's not the problem. They give no fuck
about it. What they don't want to be close to is motherfuckers who will do shit for themselves and not for them.
Right. Yeah. That's the issue. Is that right there? And fortunately enough, people saw through that. There was a great commercial that I saw that was going on in Georgia where the commercial was a Raphael Warnock commercial, and straight up, this is what they did. They pulled a focus group of people in together, and they just played Herschel Walker clips, and they just showed the reaction of the people in the focus group, and that was the whole fucking commercial.
I think it was the vampire werewolf story.
Yeah,
I think they just played
they showed a bunch of clips.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
That was the commercials. They showed them a bunch of different clips. It was just they honed in on a couple of them, like the werewolf, and the people were just like, "Is this guy serious?"
Dude, it blew my mind that was a real ad because the last person in that ad just says, "Man, let's just say it. This nigga's embarrassing." That deep nigga, but she says it like because I saw that ad on the Daily Show at first, and then I realized that was an actual Warnock ad. And I mean, that shit must have been for like the Atlanta area directly.
Yeah. Oh,
that's the only place where you can write an ad where they had an ad by a reverend to be senator where somebody says nigga.
Yeah. And
everybody cool with it because it was like facts. They were like facts.
They just do, but yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, wait, did she just say nigga? But she ain't lying though. She ain't lying. That nigga's embarrassing. He's straight embarrassing.
So homie doesn't even live in Georgia. Like here's the deal: if he lives in one state and he's voting if he lives in Texas and he's voting in Georgia, that's voter fraud. If he lives in Georgia, but he's claiming he's paying taxes and he's paying his taxes in Texas, that's tax fraud. So one way or another, he's doing some illegal shit.
Yeah.
Tax fraud. Yeah. But
it's either tax fraud or voter fraud, depending on where he claims he lives or where he's voting.
Yep. Election.
So one of those
fraud.
things is a
what,
lie.
And if,
Yeah,
what if
and
you're
it's
running in
election
one
fraud
state
too,
and you live in
because
another?
It's election fraud too because he has to be a resident of the state of Georgia to be running for office.
Yeah.
Dude, his son is a piece of shit. I called him a hot garbage, glittery hot garbage. That's how I describe Herschel Walker's son, glittery hot garbage. But he read his father for filth. I would give that trash panda motherfucker this. When he talked about his father, he was speaking the truth. I mean, he tweeted out that Trump kept calling his dad, demanding that he run for senator. Herschel didn't want to run for senator. And he said everybody told them, was telling Herschel before, man, you can't run for senator. You got too much shit in your past. All that shit. People were telling him, he was like, we basically got the middle finger and his ass ran. And then Bobby dropped out for a second. I'm sure he's gonna pop back in. I don't know if you saw that. I tweeted it out. Earlier, or not tweeted. Instagrammed it out earlier. Reeled it. I don't know, whatever the fuck you call it. But Herschel Walker's son lost his shit. He broke down. He told all the fucking truth about the behind the scenes. They told his ass that this shit was gonna happen, and now all he did was embarrass himself. All he did was make himself a national joke. He went from a fucking national hero to a national joke.
So here's the thing about all of that. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I like that. I shook Bobby,
right? You're like, here's pretty cool. All of a sudden, I was in the middle.
Hey, let me tell you something. I just learned that I could do that right now. That was on the fly, y'all. That literally happened.
Here's why I ended up by the chat. Here's how I ended up by it. So I saw that there was a message in the chat, and so I pressed the button to see what was there. And the only button I saw available to me was a back button, and that took me out the whole motherfucking stream. I was like, the chat took up my entire screen, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm done with this fucking chat. How do I get the fuck out of this? And I hit back, and the motherfucker disappeared into nothing.
All right, I got the viewers. I got the chat stream. If anybody, it looks like we got a viewer. If you want to ask us any questions about what we're talking about, feel free to go ahead and do that on there, and we will see it, and we'll be able to respond to it.
Yeah,
but
can
you guys see that? You guys can see it. You guys can see the stream at the bottom, right?
What that is, yeah. Let me see if I can maybe share this somewhere. Maybe we can create some viewers before we get too far into this, because we're just sitting here right now. There's
Wait a minute. What did you share to where?
Hey, hello. Who? I'm just. Can you see on the screen? Can you see the banner on the screen?
Yeah, it says live viewer comment show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
I was trying to share it. I shared it on Facebook.
Okay.
But I can't figure out how to get it to share on Instagram. And I don't know if you can share on TikTok. You got to go live on TikTok, huh? Or how would I share it?
Where are we at? We're on YouTube right now. Bro, when I turned it on last night, it was like 80% into the vote, and Walker was up by like 2,000 or something. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
So I didn't watch any of that shit right away because I kind of knew the result was going to be what it was, but I thought it was going to be bigger, to be honest with you. And I'm really disappointed that it wasn't bigger.
I'm gonna tell you why. Two things. Two very, very big things. One, it's a cracker state. You just got to face the fact that it's a cracker state. That's number one.
Yes, Rob. Yes, this is my thing.
Literally, the origin of cracker. Origin of the term cracker comes from Georgia.
Yep.
And two, the law is so very against the way Black people behave that I'm surprised he even got back in.
Yeah.
The laws down there are so very restrictive that you know how people it don't make no sense for you to wait 2 hours to vote. It just don't. They go out of their way to make it so hard for black people in Georgia to vote because so many of us down there making stuff happen and starting to steer the state. And they be damned if they let the head of the Confederacy be run by niggas. It's just not. They're not gonna go into that good night quietly. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see more people getting shot up and all type of silly stuff like that because that's the way these people act.
And just for anybody who may watch this and think to themselves, man, it's fucked up. It's like that down here, down there.
Yo, I'm getting ready to share the YouTube clip of this, and the screenshot of me is with me looking like this.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But what I was saying is, people might think that like that's happening in Georgia. I just had this happen to me today, right before we started this broadcast. I just found out my vote in the just recent November 8th election didn't count.
Really?
Because they said the signature on my mail-in ballot didn't match my voter registration thing, which is fucked up because anybody who's ever seen my signature knows that it is like a fucking
pretty specific. Pretty specific.
No, it's not specific at all. That's the point. It's all over the place. I don't even know what the fuck my voter card looks like. Like I couldn't even remember how I signed it to do it. I just signed it because at the time when I signed it, Illinois our county, Will County, where I live, didn't have a thing where they were fucking doing checks like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the whole voter ID thing, and I talked about it at the our election show, how much trouble I had trying to vote because they took some shit away because of that. Well, they also challenged fucking mail-in ballots. So now, I mean, mail-in ballot, I prefer mail-in ballots simply because I get to look at the whole ballot and look and see who all the people are. And I think that's the reason why they don't like it. Because you can actually look up judges. I looked up people's record. Like, hey, I typed in their name and racism. Like literally just type their name and racism to see what the fuck pops up and shit like that, and see what comes up with them. And if I didn't know who people were, and you can't do that if you go there on election day. You don't have time to do that. Everybody voting would take a half hour and shit. Yep. Instead of the 5 minutes or whatever it takes now. So that's why they're against it, and it's bullshit that my vote didn't count. Like I don't think it would have moved the needle on any of the elections that I voted in, but still.
I want us all to pay attention to this, and every time I say it, that's why I keep saying it. The whole point of this country is to give as much power to as few people as possible. That's the way the government is set up like that. That's why they call the Senate the upper chamber. That's why you ain't going to, the only way you're going to become president in this country most times than not is either be a senator or be a governor. And so they make sure that they make it where you can't get to where you want to be to run stuff. You can get some jobs. Some of y'all can do better, but it's never. And so part of that limitation is from the beginning, it was never meant for the people to really vote. It was only meant for the people who got there first to vote. And they slowly had to give that up. But the more they give that up, the more they find a way to rig the system the other way. So even if you outvote every bit of gerrymandering, every bit of the evil that keeps you from getting what you're supposed to get, they still gonna challenge it in the courts because they run the courts. So you really have no win.
Well, that is the way you can approach it, and then you can just go, well, why the fuck do we try to do anything then? We might as well just fucking start slaughtering people. I mean, the idea that like there's never going to be a chance to maybe make it different, then what the fuck are you doing? You might as well go somewhere else.
Well, that's the point of allowing the vote to feel like it counts, is that keeps you from doing that. But and it keeps people saying, well, at least you could do this. And even when you do this, they always have a reason why things don't work out.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is like, for sure, there's always going to be an attempt for people who are trying to keep you from power. My question is, okay, so what? So let them attempt it. Like maybe they'll succeed, or maybe this will be the time where it breaks. But are we just going to then stop trying because we already think that it's never going to work?
Well, for me, I'm saying I don't follow the politics anymore. I follow the capitalism. So I'm saying let's figure out how to get some money and then go back to the politics. Because at the end of the day, that's what gets you what you want.
Okay. And this is where Bobby would normally jump in and segue.
Correct.
And segue to like the next topic. But he ain't doing that. I'm a big man, nigga. I'm supposed to get the ball thrown to me in the post, okay? I had nice assist skills, but it was still assist skills in the post. I wasn't bringing the ball up court, okay?
Yeah, I'm only going to sit out here and shoot these threes. I ain't going down.
I did in street ball. Any of my homies in the A-Town that watch this shit and be like, that nigga used to try to bring the ball up court all the time. I did in street ball, but not in college or in Europe. That they did not allow that. But the other thing we want to talk about, Warnock, congratulations. I don't know if you guys saw, I posted somebody, I got it from D.L. Hughley made it. It's got JB Smoove as congratulations, JB Smoove on winning senator and governor. Because that nigga do kind of look like he'd be his big brother. He looked like he'd be Senator Warnock's older brother. Also, and I don't mean this as nothing. I don't mean this no way. Please don't nobody come for my neck for saying this. But Senator Warnock mama looked like Senator Warnock shorter with hair. He looked just like his mama. I don't know what his daddy looked like, but he looked just like his mama.
Let's be real in the applause for for Warnock as senator. There are. I mean, he's one of like I think 11, 12, I think it is ever. That's a small number. I mean,
it's at 12 now.
What? No, ever.
Yeah. I thought when you at first when you said 11, 12, I was like, I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, wait. No, there's a brother from South Carolina. There's Cory Booker.
No, 11 or 12 ever. And so
I think that's it.
One thing you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
One of the things you talk about, Rob, is that is like, the Senate, to become president, you got to get through the Senate part first. And like that is a way you keep people down. It's similar to the NFL, right? You can't run a franchise if you don't get to be a head coach, and if you don't get to be a quarterback, you don't get to be a head coach because you don't get to be an offensive coordinator. It's usually the path, right? And it's the same thing there. So in that part, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Before we move on, I'm not in all out disagreement that like there are methods that are used to keep people from getting to power for sure. One of those is limiting who can become senators. Warnock has broken through in that, and I mean, I'll be honest. That guy's also been at work. That guy's introduced like 200 bills. He's had his name on a bunch of shit. He's introduced a bunch of legislation. Like,
you want to know something crazy? You want to know something crazy? And I feel like it's almost as crazy as 2004 when they said it about a Barack Obama. There were multiple voices saying that he could have presidential aspirations.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind.
I want to see him put in a full, I want to see how his term goes and like how involved he becomes in things.
It would blow my mind that somebody who is a reverend would because as much as I like, I think he's an amazing orator. I believe he's a earnest man. I don't believe there's any dirt on him whatsoever. He's going through a divorce and
there's a domestic dispute at one point, and that was it.
They went through a divorce and domestic. Yeah. Literally
the police came to the house one time and there was a domestic dispute. That's the only thing that's ever happened with him.
Yeah,
and I was like, no charges, no nothing.
Yeah. And exactly. And I just want to clear something up because I want to say this. I just saw this. I don't know if you guys saw it. This happened at Disneyland like the other day. A dude committed suicide because him and his wife going through a divorce. They had an argument. She got frustrated and called the police. There was no violence or anything like that. But they still booked him because some areas have those rules that if they get called out for domestic disputes, you get booked.
Thanks, OJ.
And he got booked on. Is that from that? Is that what that's from?
That's exactly in the state of Illinois. That's where it came from.
Wow.
Well, this was in California, but anyway, he got booked. He's a teacher. Him getting booked on domestic violence, and plus there were kids in the house, so they also added like a kid charge on it. And he got suspended from work. She was, very sorry. She tried to tell him, "Hey, I don't want this. I don't want to." But the way it's set up, he had to go through that, and he still had to go through like counseling and do all kind of other shit, even though nothing happened. He killed himself because it destroyed his life. And I'm not saying that's like anything to say it needs to be lesser or anything like that. I just people always should be careful when they just say somebody had the cops came out for a disturbance, man. That happens a lot, and sometimes there's stuff that it's not always the horrible stuff.
Yeah. I think men have definitely done enough to create a situation in which like a reasonable concern for fear doesn't make like terror. It's not like crazy. But I also think that like, I wish there'd be some more thought put into what's going on when people start to get into arguments from everybody.
Yeah.
Because
around a whole, all the way.
Where like, where other people end up getting involved who have different plays and power and how things operate that create a problem. And like sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes that can lead to some fucked up results. But we did have some other topics we wanted to get to, right? So we don't want to dwell on this. We want to get back into what we were talking about. The Trump organization, I think, was the next thing we were going to talk about.
It is.
We've been waiting for these motherfuckers. I believe since we started the podcast, we've been waiting for these motherfuckers to be guilty of something.
Yeah. Like finally, man. I wish I had learned how to do special effects on this shit, because I feel like there should be some confetti happening, like sprinkling down on the screen right now.
I need the Miami Dolphins champagne to pop. You know what I mean?
It's definitely about time they got convicted of some. Now the thing that's fucked up is they convicted the organization.
Right.
And it's like 17 counts, but I don't think it's that much money, but it is definitely going to fucking basically shut down his business, because while that's already happened, there's a civil suit that's being set up against, so where they're trying to shut down everything already, they're going to be able to take this conviction with that civil suit and go, hey, you see, this is what the fuck we're talking about. And that's going to give them way more weight with the judge and everything else with that suit. And then there's another criminal suit that they just hired a special prosecutor from the DOJ. They brought him in from the DOJ back into work in New York to get him. So I think they sick of his shit, man.
Now I'm gonna take a perspective that both you and Rob have taken at one point, and I will say that I am still not sure or convinced that they will get this man. I am in agreement with you, although I would love to see something different. Watching this dude dodge shit for so long, I understand how the overall feeling could be like, yeah, it's probably gonna skate though. Like, so the maximum penalty for the 17 counts is like 1.1 million, which is like that's one. All they gotta do is do one donor email and they'll pick that up, no problem. You know what I mean? Like simple donor email, they'll pay for that, which by the way is illegal, but whatever. At this point, they'll pay for illegal with illegal, right? Like
that nigga probably already got it. He probably already got it.
So
Rob, one more thing before you jump in. I will say the lesson we learned here. Stop naming shit after yourself. Don't name shit after. If it would have been called the Boobadoo organization, he could have started some new shit, and his personal name wouldn't have been attached to the dumb shit. Now everywhere, they're like, I'm down Trump. Oh, you mean Trump organization? Trump? Yeah, nigga, we ain't giving you no money. What the fuck? You the same nigga.
Wait. Trump college nigga? The Trump college nigga? Wait. The Trump stole money from veterans, nigga?
Oh, damn.
Like, he's so many shitty Trumps all in one, where he could have had 15 companies with different names.
Hey.
And he could be like, no, that was like some other company. There's so many companies names.
You could start a lousy law firm of lawyers that ain't good lawyers no more because they have been trying to defend this horrible motherfucker, man. Like, it's weird. Like, I know people have always said that lawyers are disgusting, low-life people, and I've always hated that for one, because at one point in my life, I fancied myself that I wanted to be a lawyer. And also, I understand enough about our system that I don't understand the law, but I understand the necessity of lawyers, okay? But seeing motherfuckers consistently just run and just fucking sacrifice themselves to this motherfucker, sacrifice their career, their good name, like they're attaching themselves to this motherfucker forever in history. for some shit that is like blatantly, obviously like wrong and historically bad.
Yeah.
Like they know that they're committing crimes while they're committing crimes. They're asking for pardons and shit in the midst of doing the things that they're doing. There's nobody that's fucking fooled or bamboozled by this man or hoodwinked or hustled. These are co-conspirators.
Yeah.
So to be a co-conspirator and just to it's like these motherfuckers are at the Alamo and enlisting. like they're watching these niggas get gunned down, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I think I want to ride with these motherfuckers, with this Debbie Crockett motherfucker.
Yeah, they're like they're booking tickets for the Titanic after it's hit the iceberg. It's like, what are you doing, dog? Why?
Yeah.
Get helicoptered out to the motherfucker while it's
Hey, hold on.
I just climbed down the ladder. It's all good.
Wait a minute. They ain't got lifeboats for everybody. This sounds fun. This is like an adventure.
Well, Rob,
so much
when you say freezing, go ahead, Rob.
There's so much to unwrap in what just happened there. Well, the first part is that capitalism will allow for you to write a book. And when you got them people following you, those type of people following you, yeah, I did all this horrible shit with Trump. I did all this, and here's my tell-all book. Give me a bag. So that's one. Let us never forget capitalism. Number two, because they ain't gonna give you no real time. You're gonna go to Club Med for about 7-8 months, because then that shit is gonna amount to much. Because crack on cracker crime. And please allow me to go back one thing. One thing you guys not ever forget.
Avenatti just got 14 years, by the way.
Who?
Whoa!
What happened?
Whoa!
Michael Avenatti, the guy who was representing Stormy Daniels, the lawyer. Yeah. He got caught up in some illegal fraud shit. I think he got 11 or 14 years, something like that.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, I'm disappointed in myself and everybody else that ever believed in Michael Avenatti. He was a porn star lawyer. Like, this nigga was a porn star lawyer. Like, how do we think, like, this nigga was a porn star lawyer? We just, like of course he was a con man. So, sorry, go ahead, Rob. I apologize.
First, you got to deal with the capitalism of the situation. And secondly, the way that the government runs and the way things work, which we lead back to the other thing, is that with law enforcement and situations like that, if they coming after the president of the United States, they coming at him in waves. They're not going to come at just one part at a time. So what's about to unfold in the next week or two is a bunch of fucking indictments on every part of Donald Trump's life. Now, what's going to wind up being the end game is they're going to pop his ass on a bunch of shit. Then what is next is what is going to be interesting. How do you jail him? Because they're going to put him in jail. Not for any of the other shit, not for none of the policy bullshit, not for fucking with the Mexicans, none of that. They putting him in jail because he ordered people to smear shit on the walls of the Capitol. They're going to put the man away, but where they going to put him? That's the question. And what kind of jail facility can you put the former president?
Supermax. I want this nigga out on the island with all the other mega villains. I want him in there with fucking that Gorilla Grodd motherfucker. I want him out there with Thanos. Put him out there with Lex Luthor. I want him out there with all them niggas. He needs to be in an all plastic cell. I don't want no metal around this motherfucker.
Did you see Black Adam?
I didn't.
Bobby, did you see Black Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, that undersea shit.
What they probably gonna do? They're gonna do like they did to the motherfucker from the French Revolution, to little Napoleon. They're gonna probably do put him on Alba somewhere and put a little service.
Hey, they're gonna put that nigga on Epstein Island, but without all the bitches.
That's it. They turned Epstein Island into a prison, and this motherfucker's got to stay there. That's fucking hilarious. Oh God.
Oh God.
They should just have older women than him.
It'd be him and his kids.
They should have women who
and his kids.
They should have women who are older than him just beat the shit out of him.
Because really,
like octogenarians just wailing on him with a fucking
like that's like their exercise. That's their daily exercise. Come out and beat Trump's ass.
Because what the system needed,
you piece of shit. You piece of shit.
What the system needed was them judges and them tax breaks. He gave them both of them, and then he smeared shit on the wall on the way out. They're like, take this with you. And the funniest thing about all of it, go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I'm going to ask you. So to be clear, you believe that it's about to be over for your boy. You believe that they're going to get him.
It's
you
done. I would be amazingly surprised if it wasn't.
I'm going to lean in with some things that I think I think these are more than coincidences. The judge who was doing the overseeing, I forgot what they called it, the special whatever that was looking at the documents.
Yeah, Judge Cannon.
Judge Cannon, not Judge Cannon, but the other judge that they assigned to actually look at the paper.
The special master cat.
Special master, yeah. He was supposed to have a thing he had a scheduled meeting on the Trump case that he canceled for no reason. Like they didn't say why he didn't cancel it, right? He canceled it, right? The day after he canceled that was the day they announced Jack Smith, right? The day after they announced Jack Smith, this nigga get killed, he could get found guilty. Like all that shit happened in kind of sequence or something like
he canceled the meeting. They brought in Jack Smith. They told Judge Cannon that the special master shit was bullshit, and they called that.
Oh that's what happened. That was the other thing.
Turned over all the tax shit, and then the Trump organization got found guilty like a couple days later. And here we are
that shit happened in a week and a half, like a week.
And so here's where I'm catching what you're saying, Rob, and I agree with you that to an average observant, Trump is bigger than the system, and he will somehow evade it. To what you're saying is that Trump was a pawn of the system. The system is now done with Trump. They'll pick a new person to play that role. He can go be trash now. Thank you very much. You're gone. Right?
Here's the only
I mean, that could easily work that way, and I would not be surprised.
Here's the only thing I disagree with, and I'm just thinking for diplomacy, it's not diplomacy because it's internal, but whatever. I don't believe he's going to be jailed. I think he's going to be convicted. I think he's going to be charged. I think he's going to be tried. I think he's going to be convicted. I think President Biden is going to pardon him with special conditions that he's not allowed to profit or speak at all about any of his presidential experiences or anything because he's being charged with motherfucking treason, basically.
I like both of these. So, I would be okay with either one.
He's not allowed to do anything. Like he can't go on no speaking tours about this shit. He can't, go on talk shows. He can't write books. He can't do anything. He could go back to
you know what's great about that?
Golf courses.
You know what's great about that is he would break that shit.
Yeah.
He I would love to break it, nigga. Please break it. I would be waiting for him.
But because the reason why it sounds like a violation of his First Amendment, but the reason why I think it would have some validity is he basically this motherfucker tried to incite coup. So you speaking on that is fucking. It's like letting Hitler fucking all right, Hitler. We're gonna let you out because we can't lock up a president. But don't you talk about it like you have to if you put that thing in there. I think because how you could imprison a president in prison, especially after this nigga stole all these documents. I don't know how you can imprison.
He has a ton of secrets, and that's what he's gonna try to leverage to keep himself out of jail.
Right.
But never underestimate the system's way of all this time. They've been doing shit countermeasures. Because this shit was way more fucked up than anybody knew. You understand? When Trump was in the presidency, he gave the Russians access to everything. Yeah. They know everything. There is nothing that these motherfuckers don't know.
They were in our system for 9 months. 9 months before we even knew they were in it. Like not 9 months before we caught them. 9 months before we figured out they were there.
Yeah, I think the low-key thing that is not being made public is the depth of the actual fuck up of what was going on. I think anybody who was there long enough before, who's been able to go in and see what was there before, anybody who was tight and close, right? that was able to go in and see what was there before, who came in and was like, oh, this is what the fuck it is now. Like, I'm sure Biden got in there and was like, what the fuck did he do to this place? Like the rules and regulations, like how they had, it's all, because there were so many roles. There were so many roles during his presidency that were not filled. So many.
Like, people, I remember so many people. I don't want to say a comic sense because I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting on him, but I remember he would always say, man, like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? This motherfucker literally gave up all of our secrets and hollowed out our defense. Like the worst that can happen is this nigga jeopardized everything. Everything. Like fuck your tax breaks, nigga. Like, the Russians know our secrets.
They did make a move towards this prosecution that they're trying to get to him. Merrick Garland ceded controls after Trump announced his presidency to Jack Smith, who is now the lead dog on the actual criminal prosecution. And I think the J6 committee is referring criminal referrals over to the Justice Department to go after him now. So this guy, Jack Smith, I mean, I've listened to some stuff about him. It sounds like he's like a bad motherfucker who's just going to run shit by, like, you shouldn't expect him to be like a misstep from his crew either, right? Like, he's going to come in and do his shit. He's been at it since, I think he started in '94 in the New York County District Attorney's Office. But he was recently, what's the most recent thing he was doing? I forget what he was. He was overseas. He was
in The Hague. He was at The Hague.
Which is like, look, dog.
War criminals. He was trying war criminals.
Like, literally, those are the guys who do put people like Gorilla Grodd and shit away. Okay? Like,
yeah.
He's already put them niggas in jail. He's just coming for the next one. You know what I mean? Like,
this nigga does kind of sound like a superhero. Like, this nigga was over at The Hague putting war criminals in jail. They was like, no, we need you to come lock up an ex-president. Don't worry, I got you. Who is it? Jack Smith. Jack Smith.
Hey, what's that dude name? What's that dude name that was messing with the little boys that played the president on Netflix?
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey would play him in the movie if Kevin Spacey wasn't diddling little boys. He would
right. If Kevin Spacey hadn't been a little boys, he'd have been Jack Smith. Is that what you're saying?
He'd been played by Kevin Spacey. I guess as it is now, you're gonna have the dude that shot the people in the desert play him. that played Trump all the time.
I love the way you reference people by the way you like the guy who shot the other guy, and then that one dickhead. You get that one dickhead to be somebody.
I don't know who the shot people did. Are you talking about Alec Baldwin?
You're talking about Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
That's what I'm saying. Like, what a way to reference Alec Baldwin. Like,
I was so lost. And I was like, what the fuck? Alec Baldwin? I had no idea who the fuck you were talking about.
You actually killed the motherfucker. That should be noteworthy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he didn't just shoot somebody.
He didn't kill. Alec Baldwin did, he did pull the trigger, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yes. He shot somebody in the desert. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry that it happened, but I'm just saying that was.
But that is a way to refer to him. This Jack Smith guy seems like he doesn't lose, and he seems like everybody, like, they were talking to somebody who worked with him for like 30 years or some shit, and they were like, yeah, homie ain't gonna, like, you would know what political way he leaned by talking to him ever. You'd have no idea. He just goes wherever the facts are, and like whatever the thing is, he'll uncover them. He'll do everything by the book. There'll be no impropriety. There'll be no like, oh, he cheated his way to get this result. That is not, you don't expect that. It's like, if there's a case and he can find it by chasing it through legal, efficient, ethical ways, then he'll make it. And like, for sure, this nigga's done shit that's so obvious that there's no way you can.
So,
Donald Trump was like, hey, I'm about to commit crimes. And then he committed a bunch of crimes.
So here's the thing. And I know Rob is going to know where this is going. And Bobby, I don't know. Bobby, did you ever listen to that Rachel Maddow thing, Ultra?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
okay.
Yeah.
So You guys remember the part of Ultra where where the prosecutor went and found the Nazi files and all that shit, and came back and he had all this fucking evidence, and they had these motherfuckers dead to rights. Remember that? Yeah, I feel like this is exactly where we're at.
I think that's what the podcast is about right now. I think that's
if you had that
podcast.
Now listen, y'all know how I don't trust the government.
Right.
You know how I don't fuck with these people. Because I was in the police department. I know what that shit is about. It is to the point now that they can't make money. It's to the point now where you fucking with the dollars, right? Because people do not want to deal with a government that is not stable. And this government is becoming obviously unstable. And so what's happening now is a correction that is going to change everything. These people are coming. They are not playing, and they are coming exactly how they came at the government. Every time you make war with people, you got to have a bunch of stupid people. You need them to run out and go out with the weapons and shoot at everybody. Then you need a select group of motherfuckers that go get exactly what the objective is. And this is what's happening now. They have raised the level of the attack. This man is going to be convicted of something. Now, the question is what they're going to do to him, because not unlike what X said, he has a lot of government secrets. And a lot of them he's already sold, and there are some things that he will probably start talking about once they start firing his ass up hot enough. So the question is, what kind of deal are they willing to make for him?
Yeah, man, in the end, that's what it comes down to, where that's going to come out to. And I'm interested to see what this guy Jack Smith pulls out, which is going to be amazing. In the meantime, you've got a party where this guy's announced he's running for president.
Let me just say one more thing, Bobby.
Yeah.
The worst shit of it all, the reason that they really got to do something, is the motherfucker admitted several of the laws he broke via tweet.
Man.
Or
truth. Between truth. Because he can't tweet. Well, he can tweet now, I guess, but at the time he couldn't tweet, but on his truth, whatever the fuck it is. Has he actually tweeted yet?
No.
So it's a truth.
Yes, he's just truthing at the moment.
The
party,
which is so hilarious. Oh my god!
The party that he represents. I mean, he's still currently running for president in 2024, according to him.
They all afraid of. They're all fucking terrified of him. And it's a hilarious.
Right now, it's him, Ron DeSantis. Yay! Those are the choices. Those are your choices for 2024, GOP.
Hey, here's something crazy. Here's the thing. I forgot. This is one other thing I wanted to add to why I think they're coming in on him. Is the only thing that has kept him out, I believe, this entire time is that it has appeared that this motherfucker has had an army at his whim. That if they came for this motherfucker, he has openly said, I don't know what would happen, as if to speak that they'll tear this motherfucker down, right? And this recent election, plus the response to other shit that's been going on, it doesn't look like he has it like that anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the camera to anybody watching the show and shit. I keep looking at the damn screen. It doesn't appear like he has it like that anymore. Yeah. His magic is dwindling quite a bit, and that he's a wounded motherfucking animal. If you got a big ass beast like that, you stick him that motherfucker when you go get him that motherfucker when they're wounded. You'll wait till this thing gets strong again. You get him while he's down. That's what fucked up January 6th. They didn't get that motherfucker. They should have had that nigga in shackles that night, right? He should have been in motherfucking shackles that night, and everybody would have been good with it. But they let that shit ride. They let that motherfucker finish out his term, and then 2 weeks after that, everything was flipped again because his people saw this nigga look triumphant. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he didn't do shit wrong because everybody knows he should have been in shackles that night. Because he wrote out his term, I can see how their mental gymnastics can make it feel like they didn't do anything wrong. If they had done something wrong, they would have arrested him that night. You know what I mean? And because this motherfucker is walking around free, there's so many problems. But he's wounded right now, and they need to fucking take advantage of it before he gets strong again. Before Christmas comes and this nigga somehow flips his shit and rages the fucking masses again.
Yep.
I don't think he has any less crazy white men willing to shoot up malls than he had before. because don't take that many of them. Because most of America is a soft target. So that's not really the issue. The issue that he has, he still got that army, but it's a whole bunch of FBI motherfuckers in it now. The FBI has infiltrated a lot of these motherfuckers. If they could tell you where you was sitting, if my Google machine could tell me where I was sitting on January the 3rd, then they know where these motherfuckers are. They know.
Yeah, the freedom of movement now in those groups is a lot more difficult than it was before now. Because of who the knowledge of everything that's going on. I mean, there are a lot of people in law enforcement that are extremely upset with. They could still be Republicans, but that shit for them was probably a step too far. I think there's a lot of that going on. I think that's a big issue. And the issue is also, like, again, this was a problem that Democrats had when Obama was going through his term, is that they didn't have anybody getting ready. There was nobody getting ready that they were lifting up. And I think the Republicans have spent the last 12 years, 10 years, really infighting. And that's why Trump was able to step through in the first place. And they have not solved any of that shit. And they have there is no policy plan. None of that shit exists for them. So,
I know that somebody's gonna say, I don't give a fuck what somebody thinks. They are so cartoonish. They are so cartoonish. It's ridiculous. But also, if you think about their motivations, the things that motivate them, everything is based in fear. Fear that somebody else is going to take something that they feel is theirs. So that they have to prevent. Everything is them. They want to stop. They don't want new laws. They want to use the existing laws. Motherfucker, if the existing laws were working, we wouldn't be having the conversation. Like, clearly something is, we need to adjust something. We need to be more specific, because you niggas keep finding loopholes.
The issue with the policies that they make is they don't work. So why keep making them when they don't? Everybody is hip to this tax cut for the rich shit. Everybody know what it is. Ronald Reagan was the worst president leading into the modern era of any other presidents, because he stripped so much away that would make people's lives better in an effort to give more money to the wealthy. He was the funnel that started it all. And all these people now still sitting around saying they were Reagan Democrats have no idea how stupid they are to say it. Like, dude, this dude took away your right to an education, because college didn't cost shit before that motherfucker. It was clearly, he is clearly the catalyst for all of it. And yet, on what they call the liberal station, you turn the TV on, and it's a cracker on TV telling you he is a Reagan follower in Morning Joe. You can and he don't let nobody get a word in edgewise. It is just a lick his ball fest every morning on liberal TV.
I haven't watched Morning Joe in, I don't know, maybe 2 years, man.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic. I stopped.
Why did you stop?
Because that motherfucker, he's a Republican, and he has a bunch of Republican motherfuckers on. Like, he's a motherfucking wolf, just hot in prime spot in the morning, man. Like, that shit, they need to have a Rachel Maddow type.
Give me the Ari Melber
in the morning.
That's what I mean.
Ari Melber is kind of cold, though.
Ari Melber.
Ari Melber would be great in the morning.
Yeah.
Ari Melber from like 6 to 8. That's 7 to 9 in the East Coast.
My man dropped the Outkast reference in the runoff coverage last night. he goes like Goody Mob and Outkast said, you gotta get up, get out, and do something.
I remember, man.
I'm gonna say something sacrilegious to X. I don't really listen to a lot of Jay-Z. I don't. I'm not a big fan. I mean, some of the shit I've listened to, but it's the shit you hear on the radio. And then because of Ari, I'm like, maybe this nigga's worth listening to.
Okay, let me tell you something. I wasn't offended because of Ari is why you listen to the nigga. Motherfucker, me and Bobby be talking about Jay-Z all the motherfucking time. I don't know why you
Ari co-sign.
Yeah. You needed a Jew. No, I'm just kidding. You had 2 half Jews right here. But
yeah, I mean, and some other shit that we were going to talk about. I know that one of the things, we want to get talking about some blackness. We want to get to some blackness to end this show. And Deion Sanders, who is the head coach at Jackson State University in Mississippi, he's a Florida State. I mean, he went to Florida State. That's the school he went to.
Yeah.
Played in the pros, played baseball and football. One of a few two-sport athletes. Went to coach at Jackson State to bring some profile to HBCUs. It's in the SWAC conference. Spent time there, pulled in great top talent, ran the division. I think just finished an undefeated season, won the conference again.
Back to back.
Yeah, was getting paid $300,000 a year while he was there. Spent his own money to upgrade the facilities at Jackson State. Just took on the head coaching job at the University of Colorado with a total compensation package of $29.5 million after getting
how many years?
5 years.
All
just
right,
over
so
5 years.
6 million. I'm just under $6 million a year.
Just under $6 million a year from $300,000.
Anybody get paid more than him?
What's that?
Does
A
anybody
lot of
get
people.
paid more than him?
Oh yeah. There's guys.
A whole lot of people.
There's
This dude's making $10 million a year, $12 million. I can't. The motherfucker, the nigga from Clemson, the dude who coaches for Clemson, has a clause in his contract that if anybody gets paid more than him, he automatically gets a raise. It's automatic in his contract.
But for a first-time coach, this is noteworthy.
goes,
Nick
for a
Saban's
first-time coach
salary.
at that level, yeah, that's a solid. That's a good salary. $6 million.
Just put it in context. Nick Saban, who's considered the best coach in all of college football, his total compensation is around 9.9. Harbaugh at Michigan, who's getting ready to play, I think, for a national title or something, his is like 7. So Deion came in getting 6 off the bat.
Yeah.
Which means he's only gonna get more on the next one if he does well, right? So there's a lot of conversation, and we've kind of gone through this, Rob, kind of ad nauseum about whether it would have been better for him to stay at Jackson State forever and but we both agree on this. We want to increase the profile of HBCUs, right? The SWAC conference, the MEAC conference. It would be great if they both were able to compete for higher levels of talent, have better coaches, be seen as D1 level kind of schools. We both agree that would be the right end goal, right? And I think in our conversation, we were kind of disagreeing about the path to get there and how we think it's most efficient to make it happen. And your thoughts, if I could remember right, were that you felt that by Deion not leaving, that would be the best chance to raise the profile of the conference and to bring in more people. And my feeling is that by him leaving, it convinces more younger Black coaches who are looking for a shot, or names who might think about giving it a shot, to see this as a path. And then you start getting this influx. I think my view looks at it as a lot more of like a long-term plan, right? With a slower build, because I feel like it's going to take, I was breaking this down for somebody yesterday where I was like, okay, so he leaves and he goes to Colorado. So now I think a lot of D1 schools are like, shit, man, maybe we got to take a closer look at these HBCU coaches and shit, because this might be a good incubator. And also maybe some guys who had some names who couldn't get a shot go, maybe I'll coach at HBCU, I'll pull some Deion shit, and I'll get a break. So maybe 2 more guys go out in there. They start pulling some more talent that could have been D1 talent that goes there. Now the school's profiles are starting to rise a little bit. And like maybe one of those guys leaves, but 2 more guys come in. Now you got 3 coaches in there. Now Deion's long gone. A couple other coaches have gone on to D1 schools. You're getting more good Black coaches already at the D1 level, but also you create this thing where now you've got a system that's growing here. And then you get to a point where you have 3 or 4 coaches in the conference, a bunch of D1 talent. And now it's a place where it's like, maybe we should go. Now the TV contracts start hitting. And now ESPN is like, we should put this on main ESPN on Saturday morning. And maybe CBS starts to buy in. But I think if Deion just stays, I don't think that alone is enough to convince that many more. I think him showing that there's a path, because there's a lot of people that see that and go, cool, I like that. I could see I could succeed here. But there's also a lot of people a lot of Black coaches, men, that go, I really want to coach at the school I played at, which was University of Michigan or Nebraska or whatever. And so while maybe coaching at a HBCU is cool and does something for Black people and that's good, I actually have my own personal goals that are at a different level. And so by him doing this and moving on, he's not saying like, he's not discarding HBCUs. He's saying this is a place you can live and grow. Look, I lived and grew here. Some people are going to see that and go, I'm going to live, grow here, and stay here. But some people are going to say, I can see this as a stepping stone to something to where I might want to be down the road, and that's all good too. It's growth overall from that standpoint for me. Did I lose y'all?
No,
I was waiting for Rob.
I was waiting on X. For me, I don't dispute any of that. I'm just saying every time you let too much of other shit happen in your system that you don't control, then you don't control it anymore. Yeah. And at Jackson State, you can get a whole bunch of black people. All these kids would have kept coming down there. You would have built other coaches by being there. Other people and true people who want to compete with you are going to start coming to where you are to be able to compete with you, especially if they admire you. This dude was on the in the way that football is played, he is the Mount Rushmore. He is significantly better than anybody else around him. And if you are that dude and you stand only where black people at, white people gonna come sniffing around. And at that point, you control that entity. But where it is now, you don't. Now listen, I understand. Get your money. I'm not knocking your hustle. None of that. But I'm saying from the perspective of me, seeing how these shits work and how they do things, only thing gonna wind up happening is he's gonna sell a bunch of Colorado shit. He's gonna do well there, and all that is great. It's nothing wrong with any of that.
What do you think he's doing for other black coaches?
Hey, Bobby, is it? Let me respond real quick. You keep bringing up Deion getting the money. I don't think this had any fucking thing to do with Deion getting $6 million at all. I don't think Deion gave a fuck about the money when they was giving him the $300,000. I think he was donating that shit. Like I don't think it has anything to do with Deion's money. What I was trying to explain to you when we had in the chat, and I say it on here, is Colorado gives him a chance to win a national motherfucking championship. He can't do that at Jackson State. They're not in the system.
Not with that attitude.
But Colorado also gives him the opportunity. Like I told the thing, like when I went to Louisville, them niggas had that shit looked like a spaceship to me at the time, and this was 30 years ago. So I can't imagine what Colorado, which is actually a good program, Louisville was a shitty program at the time. Colorado's a shitty program now, but they had a national championship, a couple times in our lifetime. So I have to imagine their facilities are fucking amazing. It elevates everything. And most importantly, his coaches are getting paid. Like Deion is rich, but his coaches aren't. And they're coaching, they weren't donating their salaries and shit. But now they're all, it's like literally moving up to the major leagues.
That I have to take exception to, because it doesn't matter what the college pay you. There's always other opportunities to make money, right? So if that were the case, you can get money out the local community. It's still going to be boosters. There's still going to be ways that you can go do a Taco Bell commercial.
No. They can't match that money, man.
That's not true.
They can't match that money.
Here's the thing: if there were boosters at Jackson State, then they could have paid enough money to keep them. The problem is because schools in those two conferences have not had the type of talent brought through there, the amount of professionals who've gone on to become professional athletes out of those conferences is small, which means the amount of people that can go back and donate a $10 million facility or raise the identity of the conference is not there yet. And so to start creating that flux, and I think both of you guys are way too focused on what it does for Deion the individual and not the idea of the grander scheme of the plan of what Deion doing this does for the system in whole and the possibilities it opens up.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
I think that's the actual bigger thing at play is like this creates a possibility. It opens up opportunity that is just a wider path than there was before. And people are going to approach it and take advantage of all different levels of it, including going and staying in the HBCUs and staying talent there. Like now you know you can be a D1 talent, go to an HBCU school, and if you're in the right spot, move on. Now you know if you're a black coach and you're looking for an opportunity shot, you can go there and be great. And maybe stay, and maybe move on, maybe get your bag, maybe not get your bag.
I don't disagree with any of that at all. I'm just saying I think Deion has ambitions to win a national championship type shit.
Sure.
And so his motivation to leave Jackson State there are things that Jackson, like as much as he was doing for Jackson State, all that shit is true, and him leaving creates all of that because people are going to, especially if he's successful at Colorado, especially if he's successful.
Let me ask this: do you think he's one? This is one for both y'all. 1A, do you think he's going to be successful at Colorado? And then 2,
yes, I think he's going to be very fucking successful.
If you think he's going to win a national championship, how many years do you think it will take?
Within 5 years.
5 years to a national championship?
Here's why. The only thing you need to win a championship is you need the horses. You need the recruiting. And this motherfucker, I can't express to you because I play for a very
I would play for
Division
Deion Sanders right now.
I'm saying I have a unique experience of having played for a D1 school, dropping out of school, and then playing for a Division II school. And the fucking difference is it's like playing in a nice high school versus playing at fucking United Center. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these colleges are like. Like Jackson State, God bless Jackson State. There's some fucking small universities around here that have nicer facilities than Jackson State. I love Jackson State. I'm not shitting on Jackson State. I'm just saying
what it is what it is.
Colorado, University of Colorado probably has some space age shit because they've won national championships in like the last 30 or 40 years. And because they won, the main reason why I think he's going to win it within 5 years is because they won before there. So that they have the boosters that will get excited and do what they got to do. Plus, it's legal to pay motherfuckers now.
Yeah.
And he got fucking the number 2 recruit in the fucking country to go to Jackson State. If he can get the number 2 recruit in the country to go to Jackson State, he getting everybody to go to Colorado. Colorado got beautiful motherfucking facilities and beautiful women. Mm-hmm. It is not going to be hard to get motherfuckers to go to Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, to bring back in Cordell Stewart. I mean, you really making a move if you do something like that. You get Cordell Stewart back.
I believe he is probably going to win fairly quickly.
Yeah,
there's nothing about that dude that makes me see anything but success. And again, what I'm saying to each and every person that's listening, and to the two of you, it would not take long if you stay in that spot and keep bringing the shit to you. Then you control everything around. We consistently keep trying to, I don't know, man. I just think that if you could get, like you said, dude, to go to Jackson State, the key to this game, I'm going to admit, I don't watch football anymore. I stopped watching it even at college.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is the thing that make you win is skill positions and fat dudes to stand up front. You could get fat dudes to stand up front in Mississippi. You could get every skill position you need in Mississippi. You could bring all of the motherfuckers, ESPN, and you could buy BET and put the games back on it. I'm saying you would run everything.
With what money, Rob?
Because
once you get the kids start going down there,
it's
Rob, you don't understand, man. You don't understand. It would take 20 years. It would take 20 years, and here's why. It would take 20 years for them to build the buildings, for them to have the type of facilities that Colorado has today. Like they have to have.
No, it wouldn't. That's a fucking lie, and I'm gonna tell you why it's a fucking lie. Because Brett Favre just got 2 or 3 buildings built in the same. No matter what, if you control it, it's yours.
They had $5 million.
You missed me with that shit.
He just the issue is
they didn't have $5 million. They stole $5 million. But
I think where we differ on is the readiness of the how quickly the money would show up, and I just don't think it would show up as quickly as you do. I don't think at all. And I'm not saying
20 years it'll be worth it. I'm not disagreeing with anything that you guys are saying. I'm just saying that it's worth it. It is high time it happens. And all it takes is one person to believe it and to start working on it for it to start moving in that.
And what I'm saying is that Deion Sanders opens that door for someone else who will end up probably being somebody like that. And I think it'll be more than one because multiple people will see that and go, oh, this could work. And some of them will have your thoughts in mind and some of them will have Deion thoughts in mind. But it will all be great overall for the university because he set a path. And I think that works. But either way, I think it's going to be great.
And his kids still go there, don't he?
I think so. Yeah. The other thing we're going to talk about before we got out of here was that Kenya Barris has a new movie coming out. Kenya Barris is the creator of Blackish, of Grownish, of what was the show he did on Netflix? That was
Grown AF.
Black
AF.
Black
as Fuck is one of all of this shit is funny, but Black as Fuck is, oh my God.
He's got a new movie coming out called You People. It is Eddie Murphy and Nia Long, who are parents to Lauren London in the movie, who is engaged to Jonah Hill, is the premise.
Yeah.
And there have been
Jonah Hill, who looks like thick Bradley Cooper in the clip I
saw. You know, he looked like to me, he looked like the meathead.
And you know, one of the consistent things one of the consistent things that Kenya Barris has done in his creation of material is have interracial relationships or people who are interracial in those worlds, right? It's a mainstay of what Kenya Barris creates for, I think, probably pretty obvious reasons, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe not so obvious to the people watching or anybody who watches this later. His wife is biracial, and therefore his children are also biracial. And so his shows are, if you watch Blackish, it's basically kind of his family in a different scenario. If you watch Black as Fuck, that's actually his family. And then if you watch is it Grownish? Is that Grownish? That's the one where his daughter's in college. That's his daughter at college.
And then there's Mixed-ish, which is about his wife.
Mixed-ish was his wife's story. His wife's story growing,
which I really enjoyed.
So yeah, I loved all of them. I
am obviously partial to all of this for very obvious reasons, right? Like I'm a huge
Are you, Bobby? Are you? Do you?
Kenya Barris fans for pretty. But here's the thing,
think about it. Kenya Barris is a pretty light-skinned black dude, as black dudes go. So you know.
Hey man, Twitter's been going hard on this dude about this shit, man. It's so disappointing. I'm so upset about this shit. But somebody said, "Hey man, I'm starting to believe Kenya Barris' grandparents were Virginia and Loving."
The recurring thing that comes up for me as being a person who exists on this planet is a constant defense of like my blackness to everyone. And to white people, the defense of my blackness feels empowering or righteous all the time because it's kind of it feels a lot more like a insult or a how dare you kind of a thing. And with black people, it feels a lot more like a sense of proof that I have to somehow provide, that I've had to internally get over in my head and treat that as an insult also. Because
is it hurtful?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to swallow that in all those reactions. Like, why wouldn't it be? I mean, imagine someone telling you you're not black enough.
It's weird to me. Here's the thing that's weird to me.
And imagine someone telling you that and knowing that amongst racists, I would not be treated any differently, right? Like,
probably worse.
Put on no matter what I want, and knowing where I stand, and also knowing where I'm comfortable. But having somebody tell me that I'm not that thing because I don't do X, Y, Z things that they've deemed as the barometer of what blackness is.
Man,
like,
dude,
crazy.
Hey man, I've had motherfucking Chicago comics tell me I'm not black enough because I grew up in the suburbs. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers have like absurd rationale about what blackness
is. But at the same time, though, both your parents are black, and so there's an undoubtedness about who you are, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's not only is that not my experience, I was largely raised by the white person. And had to deal with some people in my own home who weren't black. I had to learn my own blackness. Like, I had to learn what blackness was, not from necessarily the example set before me, but from what I could go seek it out.
I was raised by inherent racism. What the fuck are you telling me?
I mean, they were cool ass white people. They were down and shit. They're like, yeah, go black, whatever that is. You know what I mean? But they're like, I can't. You know, my mom, like I got to
My
watch,
mom loved me and
here's the
everything.
deal. I got to watch UMTV Raps in the crib every Saturday morning, no questions asked, because my mom was like, I don't know, you gotta learn black somewhere. If this is black, back it up. Like, I don't know. Like my mom literally was like, I'm not gonna tell you not to watch like black people shit. Like that's crazy. Like, yeah, watch it. I don't know. Get into it.
Yeah,
Like,
ride that soul train.
My mom bought me Public Enemy albums when I was like 10, 11 years old because she was like, obviously you need this.
Wow, that's fucking dope as fuck, man. That's dope as fuck. Oh my God. How have you never said this on stage? How have you never said this shit on stage, my dude? That is fucking.
You know, you're always developing.
Listening to your experiences always lead me to the same bottom line because everything about me is attracted to a certain type of place, thing, spot, all of that. But listening to your conversation, because from a perspective of a black dude who has always been pushed into a certain direction, no matter what. Like even if I showed a talent for architecture, they didn't want me to draw the outside; they want me to draw the inside of the wall. You understand what I'm saying? It is always and a light-skinned dude that became the pilot. You knew his life was set when he got there. You see what I'm saying? His family had a little bit more money than mine. Like so not listening to one another and not allowing each other's struggle to be valid is part of the problem that happens in the country. And with me and Kenya Barris, when I saw him,
because I feel that issue. Like I think that's fucking trash. That because somebody's darker than me, that they're like, yeah, that's also, as a black person, that's also fucking insane.
And the Kenya Barris thing that I was on one of our comic buddies, J Deep had posted something about him on Black AF, right? And one of the things they had issue with is how free his children were. Is how they were able to talk to him a certain type of way. And then this nigga went so far as to give you your due in the show. They went and found the most niggerish nigga they could find that is accepted by every nigga in America, Tyler Perry, and he said the exact words that every nigga in America wanted to say, and they still shit on the show. Like, dude, they give you more than your perspective. The fact that you would just not even allow the nigga to talk is just mind-boggling to me.
Also, so we've said this before, but anybody new to the joint, it is a new thing for black people to experience rich black people kids. And that whole thing that we started as, I can't remember if this was part of the broadcast or if this was before the broadcast, when we were talking, but rich black kids being free, Will Smith and Jada Smith's kids. People call them weird. People talk shit about them. Those were rich kids being free, and they've grown up to be artists and do their thing. And that's so cool.
Dwayne Wade's kid?
Dwayne Wade's kids. Oh my God, they shit on his kids so hard.
Magic Johnson, the whole thing. Like every time.
Those are rich black kids being free, and we've never experienced. Anybody who is not part of the upper echelon, whatever, and experiencing blackness from the regular side, or the more I shouldn't say regular, excuse me, the more common side, currently, can't understand letting your kids act like that.
If you are black, and you're part of the, if you are black and you're part of the proletariat in the United States, if you're part of the common people of the United States,
there you go.
If you're part of the proletariat, there is a way that you need to present yourself publicly so that you are not taken advantage of by anyone, be they other black people or white people in those situations, because you don't have much already. And the very little you have, you need to maintain by all means necessary.
And you said this so much better than me. Thank you.
And if you reach a certain point of fame or success, or basically like, you know, part of the reason why my blackness gets challenged is because I am half white. And so the rudimentary concepts of blackness that some people have stuck to, I don't necessarily adhere to. It's a different kind of black for some people, right? So I have some of those freedoms inherently by being half white, and I acknowledge that. But also fame does that at a level where people, and so like it is foreign, because the idea of not having to subscribe to certain behaviors or be into certain things or like things a certain way so that you aren't taken advantage of doesn't exist when you aren't in a place where that can happen to you.
Up until I was in the military, up until I came back home from being in the military, up until I had seen, like I had been around white folks before because we traveled all the time. My family traveled all the time. But until I laid down and woke up with a white dude next to me and start seeing certain behaviors that I just didn't agree with, but I still was a part of the totalitarian thought process in that if this is the rules, let's just follow the rules and we can all get through this shit. Because my experience, even in the hood, when the police came and fucked with my friends, they didn't fuck with me. Because I was a Bill Cosby looking kid. My parents had enough money to put me in slacks and shoes with hard bottoms, and I had on sweaters all the time, but I was still standing out on the point with a nigga with a pistol.
That is the same outfit you wear now.
Absolutely.
I know. I just picture young Rob because it was real easy. It was like, hey,
and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I
you dressed like Heathcliff Huxtable your whole life.
Absolutely.
And because
of that,
those classic things that you used to peel off and you could change the outfits and stuff. Yep. You just get like a skinnier, smaller Rob, same outfit.
And because of that, it was a degree of shit I wasn't willing to take. Like, man, I done been in your army. I know how you motherfuckers fight, and I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that. But at the same time, a lot of times they wouldn't. You feel me? Because I gave the era of I will still fight you. These motherfuckers taught me how to do it, and I don't mind doing it. You see what I'm saying? And so what I would say to all of to put the cap to all of the thought is, at the end of the day, I still was a victim of the same shit that I was serving. That is the thing that makes me angry.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance here to celebrate the fact that there's another, piece of material coming out that's going to focus on some of these relationships and some of these interactions. Obviously, it's not settled, or else it'd be settled. So we need more of this to kind of like get into what's going on. And I don't know what to. The tough part for me is like I don't know what to tell Black people that have a problem with this. I don't know what to tell Black people that have an issue with the fact I say nigger. I don't know what to tell Black people that don't think I'm Black. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all, but except to like, I don't know, go see somebody about it. Like
it's weird to me that people could be around you and not know immediately that you're Black. we I knew you were Black like right away. I can't remember why I said something and I said, I don't know why, but I called you nigga.
real quick.
He called everybody that though. Like,
but no, I feel like I called him nigga and somebody else said something like what? And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, you've been there when other people have been surprised that I was Black. You've been present. But people are like, wait, real?
Hey. I used it to my advantage.
It's always so surprising to me.
I like to go places with Bobby and get white people service and get a lot of white people secret. Bobby will tell you, I'll be all in this inbox, hey man, how do I do XYZ? And it got to the point where Bobby was like, it's YouTube, nigga. YouTube. I started doing that. Me and Bobby, our communications have dropped drastically.
You never gave this nigga the secret, man. I had homie, we got to talk a lot more when you were confused. I need some new technology to come out to trip this. When I get the place in Chicago, we gonna get fiber just because X talks so highly of it. I'm like, right? You gotta get fiber, dog. Fiber, man.
Hey, the internet I'm using now is also cable based, and it is amazing. It's 500. Like when I go on, I don't miss shit in no time. If I was a gamer, I'd be beating everybody's ass if it had to do with the internet.
This has been a good pod, man. Should we wrap it up? We're about an hour 23.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Christian Royce.
Christian Royce loves shout outs.
You just made me think of it because you were talking about new technology, and he just posted earlier. Y'all remember when everybody was really into 3D? And I said, do you remember when motherfuckers was actually buying 3D televisions? That you had to pay a couple $100s for special glasses, so only like 2 motherfuckers could watch 3D at a time, or your motherfucking $2,000 3D TV, right? That shit was the most absurd shit ever. You had to pay extra. Like I was into the shit because I was, how much me. I like going to the movies. I love tech shit. Love going to the movies. So having 3D at the crib, that shit sounded amazing. When they said the shit about the glasses, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. Especially when I was like, well, how many do I get? Like, I think you get one. You had to buy another one right off the bat. Like, I was like, you niggas must be. And that should be like,
You mean you
That's
can't make
why-
a TV with regular 3D glasses to use on it? Get the fuck out of here.
I think
Hey,
that
hey,
is
cable company want to charge me extra for 4K. I'm like, the K's I got is enough. Fuck yeah.
Hey, remember when they came out? They had channels that were devoted to that shit. ESPN had a 3D channel for a minute. That shit was like that shit was out for like 2 months, and then they're like, oh, bad, dog.
This is
Hey,
not
hey,
going the way we
like,
thought it
hey,
was
man,
going
can I get a rebate for some of this bullshit?
Well, how many
Hey,
days?
man,
Can we return it? Can we return this just with 30 days?
Dude, I think that's why that meta shit isn't working, because you actually have to buy hardware to do that shit. Anybody fucking doing that shit before it's all the bugs are done.
$3 to buy that shit, man. You
Yeah,
gotta buy
that shit's
a
absurd.
system to go live in the metaverse.
The reason why Facebook works is because we already had the phone, motherfucker. like, you got to make that shit on some shit we already got, or pass the motherfuckers out for free.
Yeah,
Hey,
or the service has to cost something, but the gear's got to be free. You got to put the gear in the people's hands. The gear has to get to people's hands, man.
Yeah,
on
some shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, on some cable
And
shit.
it's funny how we figured that out here, and they can't figure it out there. You know what I mean? You own Meta. You know.
We broadcasting this shit on one of your motherfucking networks, motherfucker.
Rob, where can the people see you? What you got going on, man? Where are you gonna be?
Hey, check this out. I need y'all all to follow me on YouTube at Robert L. Hines on YouTube. I need y'all to do that. I also want you to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok with the same handle. Also on Twitter, it's Robert L. Hines 1. I couldn't figure it out how to fix it to get it not be one, just Robert L. Hines. I'm kind of stuck with that. However, would you please follow me on YouTube, because that's where my dough is coming from these days, ladies and gentlemen.
Robert
If
L.
you
Hines
ever
on YouTube.
enjoy Toby Jones, give Toby a like and a follow, a subscribe, and share.
What about you, X?
Hey, what's up? You can see me at XL Comedy on Twitter, or it's XLCOMEDY, or XL Comedy Show on Instagram, or just look me up Xavier Lamont on Facebook. I'm back in the fucking hell of Facebook.
Back to the book.
Yeah,
Back
I
to
came
the
back
book.
to the book.
Yeah. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the show at New OGs Chicago on everything. This has been a tremendously fun episode. We were able to move through the topics freely. If you are catching this before December 13th and you are in the Chicagoland area, get out to the Hollywood Palms Cinema in Naperville.
Sneaky links.
Comedy is back on. We have a red carpet. We've got paparazzi. We're taking pictures. We got table service. The lineups are ridiculous, but they're a secret. So you got to get your tickets. Go to Sneaky Links Comedy on Instagram. That's all one word. Sneaky Links Comedy on Instagram. You can get your link to tickets there. Use the code word PALMS, all caps, PALMS. You can get $5 off your tickets, whether it's a single ticket or a double ticket purchase. There's a deal on double tickets too. That's it from here, guys. We good?
I think
Yeah,
so.
we good, man.
All right, y'all. We'll catch
Hey,
y'all
check out that YouTube channel.
That's right. That's what's up.
Peace.